I'm Johnny Lewis, coming to you live from vacation in Daytona Beach, Florida. This is my Module 4, Understanding My Community. This is the community around DeSoto High School from DeSoto, Kansas. DeSoto, Kansas is a small town kind of on the edge of Johnson County. It's a growing suburb. So some of the DHS customs and traditions that would be important for a new principal to know about. Anytime a student has an extraordinary achievement, the band marches through the school and everybody stops and comes out of the rooms and claps. We do a thing called the gauntlet, which is where the faculty lines up to cheer for freshmen and seniors on their first and last day of school. On senior day, that's like a big, like we hug our students like we've been able to be part of their story and that kind of thing. And then Senior Fest is an outdoor fair after graduation practice. Um, there's not a huge amount of community traditions that are kind of married to what happens at the school. But there is a big July 4th River Festival that people park at the school to see the fireworks, a fall craft festival. There's a big homecoming bingo that's hosted by DHS alumni that raises money for scholarships for students at DHS. And then there's a homecoming parade on Main Street every year, and that features homecoming court and different clubs and the band and businesses sponsor floats and that sort of thing. Here are some of the population statistics for DeSoto. DeSoto is a growing community. The total city population is about 6,000 people, but 39% of that population are in the ages of 25 to 44, which is kind of that demographic that's starting families. A lot of smaller communities have aging populations. That's not true of DeSoto. 19% of the population is ages 0 to 9, so lots of children. That's obviously ages, so 20% of the population are students who are not in high school yet. So the high school is preparing for a big growth boom in the next few years. Gender is split nearly 50-50. Race is 84% Caucasian, 14% Latino, 1% African American. These are all from the most recent census. DeSoto, in the city, most people have some college or a bachelor's degree. That's about 50% of people. And then 18% of people have a diploma or a GED. DeSoto is, it's a smaller town that's part of Johnson County. So a lot of the services that service the community, water board, those kinds of things are all connected to Johnson County. But because DeSoto is such a small piece of Johnson County, it's not a very influential city or it's not where a lot of moving and shaking goes on as it relates to Johnson County politics. So most things are extraordinarily local. So the school uses like a student parent texting thing to connect with families. And then in an emergency, the school uses, or like snow closures or things like that, the school uses Kansas City media. As far as other communications channels, there's a community Facebook group called In and Around DeSoto that is very popular for people in DeSoto. It's where they get a lot of their information and news. It's also like a gossipy website, so it's probably not a place that the district would post something, but maybe parents would post information about something. There's the DeSoto High School Facebook page that has 624 followers. The DHS Twitter page has 3,000 followers, but if you know about Twitter statistics, or if you just kind of look at who the followers are, a lot of those are bots or advertisers or that kind of thing. Twitter follows are often very inflated. As far as community groups go, the DHS PTA is a really important organization for a principal to know about. They organize teacher meals on parent-teacher night. They do fundraisers for academic funds. They assist with freshman orientation. They help to organize parent-teacher conferences. The Booster Club raises funds for our athletic programs. DHS has a very strong athletic program in the state for our size school. We have the DHS Band Boosters. It's a very large, strong group. They make sure that our band goes to Disney World at least once every 4 years for a band competition. They raise all the money for that. So all those groups are very active. There's an alumni organization. They support fundraisers for the other groups. So they don't do a lot of their own events, but they kind of stay connected to those other groups and other events. And then they also organize a Wall of Fame that recognizes an excellent teacher every year. It's voted on by the faculty, and excellent alumni every year as well. And then there's the DeSoto Educational Foundation. They raise funds through a golf outing and other events for scholarships for students and for grants for classrooms. In the community of DeSoto, there's the Chamber of Commerce, the Daughters of the American Revolution, Rotary, Optimist Club. DeSoto uses a mayor-council model of government, so there's 5 members of city council. All of those are pretty involved as far as, like the Chamber of Commerce in particular. A lot of those organizations sponsor spaces in the high school gym or on the football field. They sponsor advertising. But there's not a huge connection between those organizations and the school. So there are some things there that perhaps an administrator could connect to kind of grow that part of the community partnership. Economic conditions, DeSoto is a growing community economically. Unemployment rate is 3%. That's half the national average. Employment in the last 12 months actually grew despite COVID. The housing market in DeSoto is very hot right now. There are several new home developments planned there. There's construction all around the school, different plots of land. Both the mean and median income levels were within $1,500 of the national average in the city of DeSoto. The top 4 careers in DeSoto are health and human services. Number 2 is manufacturing. Number 3 is construction. And number 4 is retail. The political structure, again, most of the big stuff happens on the county level. And then you have this configuration with the district. Our district is interesting because we're kind of on a collection of the edges of several cities. So DeSoto, the entire city, is part of the DeSoto School District. And then a portion of Olathe, a portion of Lenexa, a portion of Shawnee are all part of our district as well. Kind of the edge portions where new home development has happened. That used to be kind of rural farmland. So there's sometimes tension between kind of the rural experience of lifetime DeSoto folk and people who are from each of those kind of edge communities that are much more traditional suburban communities, although DeSoto is becoming a traditional suburban community as well. But you can notice if you watch board meetings kind of the tension sometimes between board members who are lifelong DeSoto residents and view their community as more agricultural, in kind of a rural small town, and then the suburban constituencies. The school administration, through an interview that I did with a social worker from our school, has become aware of some tension as it follows. There's multi-generational DeSoto residents, as I just mentioned, who come from backgrounds that are agricultural, that feel tension with new residents. And then there's a growing Spanish-speaking population. 15% of the city is Spanish-speaking, and 15% of the high school is Spanish-speaking. So there's a huge growing population there. It's changed some of the service needs and service providers at our school. A lot more Spanish-speaking things that we're providing as a school that traditionally the school hadn't done. And so there's some tension around those things and things that administrators need to know about and to help to support those students within our school. Community efforts. The last big bond was in 2018, but in the last 5 years, 2 bonds for facility improvements passed overwhelmingly. They provided for both academic and athletic facilities, parks, pools, recreational facilities. All that is handled by Johnson County, and we're a very small part of Johnson County. But in the last 10 years, there's been Streamway Park, dog park, pool facilities, lake with a boat ramp added to the community there. And then the the county Parks and Rec also partners with the DeSoto School District to provide after-school care for students, and then summer care for students, particularly at the elementary level. They host those at the different elementary schools. Probably the biggest power structure and public opinion issue within our district has popped up during COVID-19. There had not been a lot of real political tensions that were evident in our district, maybe some minor things, but the board had been pretty functional and nonpartisan. But the public health efforts related to masking and vaccination efforts for teachers and students and quarantine procedures and online education, our district followed CDC guidelines and the recommendations of the Johnson County Health Department. But the election year leading to kind of this community health issue becoming a political issue and a partisan issue. Then Facebook groups developed, one group supporting the COVID-19 protocols, one group opposing the protocols within our district, and this led to kind of a lot of divisive board meetings for several months. And so there's a lot of tension in kind of the community with the district. At the end of the school year, we had anti-masking parents showing up and kind of protesting in the office to our school secretaries, things like that, so there was a lot of tension there. I'm imagining that a lot of the upcoming school board elections are going to reflect that as well. But those are important things for an administrator to know about. These are the resources that I used for this assignment. Thank you.